Hey Vaughn, it's John. I'm trying to get you this video. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Like, I think what might be happening, like some of the people in the class, like they're a little more intermediate in their ability about understanding major scales. I think we saw that last night, and we both know, all of us know that's really fundamental. We got to have that, right? And so I kind of had to condense all that down that was in phase 1 and 2 in a way that like I could digest it a little bit easier. And so what I came up with was something I think that might help everybody. And so here it goes. Like, I think like when you asked Frida that question last night about like G is the 9 of what chord? Well, when you go back to phase 2, it's actually, you know, the 9 of like 35 different chords, you know, when you sit down and you crunch the numbers. And it's just, that's a lot for people to take in all at once, especially like novice or intermediate piano players. So I think rather than have them try to like swallow the whole apple, what we could do is maybe get them to think about like just taking a bite. And so here's what I've got for you to think about that is just a smaller portion for people to digest, to help them start to learn and familiarize themselves and teach themselves how to familiarize themselves with the major scales. And it goes like this. All right. So if you want to just jam and you want to have fun learning how to play the major scales, so it goes like this. If you're playing a minor in your left hand, just a triad or like a minor 7 or even a minor 9, something like that, you just want to jam out in a minor, then trust the notes of the major scale one whole tone beneath of it, which we know is actually the flat 7, but they'll figure that out in time. They'll start working that out. They're going to go, well, the major scale one whole tone beneath the minor, like if I'm playing in a key of D minor, and with my left hand, I could be happening on that. On the right hand, oh, I can trust all these white notes up here. Whoa, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, da, ti, la, da, right? Everybody knows the sound of music. Then the next step is like with all music, it's either minor or it's major. So now we can teach them, and this all conforms to what's in the syllabus. So if you want to jam out in a major, then just trust the notes of the major scale. I'm talking to Vaughn. Come in, honey. So just trust the notes of the major scale of its 5. We don't have to, you know, tell them that, you know, it's like Mixolydian, right? We don't need to explain Dorian. We didn't need to go into all the modes. Just get them working out on the major scales. And so you go like, all right, so like if I'm jamming out in a key of F major and Vaughn is saying to jam out on the major scale of its 5, then the notes of the C major scale are not only good for D minor, but they're also good for F major, right? And then the last one is like the dominance, right? And so now all of a sudden we can go, all right, so now if you want to just jam out on a dominant with your left hand and hang out with the right hand, just have fun and trust the notes, then like if you're jamming out in a key, just trust the notes of the major scale of its 4. We don't have to tell them that it's Lydian. I mean, that's what it is, but that'll come in time. What we need them to do is start working out on figuring out what these majors are and having fun doing it and jamming with it. So like all of a sudden they can go like, wow, so like if I'm jamming out in like G dominant, like a G7 or G, you know, even G9, you know, if I'm jamming out on that, like I can still trust the notes of the C major scale. You mean the C major scale is going to cover D minor, F major, and G dominant? Wow. And so what if I want to do this in a different key? I'm going to take this now and try it in a different key. And I think people are going to have fun with it. And I think they'll teach themselves how to become familiar with the major scales. And I think that's really the main thing that's going to happen here is people got to have fun with this, and they got to know how to approach it. And it'll get them jamming. They'll get their hands moving, and they'll start improvising, which will develop rhythmic elements. And the beautiful thing is most of these players got enough experience right now, Vaughn, that they already got technique waiting to try these things. They just don't know this. And so the technique will come forth as they just start to work it out. And it'll develop their understanding of the major scales. And once they get the major scales, then of course all the other tensions are just going to start to drop in from phase 2. That's all going to just start to drop in. But we're not going to be able to get them there unless they understand the major scales, all 12 keys, and it'll be a way for them to teach themselves how to familiarize themselves with those things in a fun way. And my guess is, just like me, people are going to go back to some of the music that they've been playing for all these years. They're going to go, wow, that really works. That's really cool. We can cover the minor 7 flat 5. We can cover all the diminished stuff down the road. They're going to bumble into that just by nature of getting rolling with this. They're going to be able to, eventually it's going to lead into altered scales. It's going to lead into, Locrian +2 scales, sharp 2 scale. It'll lead into all that. And so, but it'll be a way of getting them going on a major scale. So with that, think about it, maybe check it out, and I wanted to say something last night, but I thought it'd be best to run it by you, man. You're the boss. Vaughn, I love you. Thank you for all you're doing for me and for everybody else. And you have a great day, my brother.